Hey guys, it is currently 1:35 p.m. on March 18th, and things have been very, very slow recently, but I am going to get into the very few romance things that I have worked on since the last romance work in progress video. On March 11th, I was working on beekeeping notes, which was the day that I filmed the last part of the last romance video, and I don't think I had finished taking the notes by then, so just in case I haven't said it in the previous video, I wrote 498 words in beekeeping notes that day, and then on March 14th I wrote 178 words in Twitter snippets for the book that I am doing the research for. I have come to a name, and I have determined that I'm definitely keeping that name, and that is Competition B, B-E-E. So that was 178 words on the 14th. On March 15th, I wrote 1,074 words in beekeeping research, and then this morning here on the 18th, I wrote 800 words in the Competition B snippets. Much like I did with Truths and Chains, the Twitter snippets that I'm working on right now are to help develop the characters and the world and the plot before I start writing it. That helped a lot with Truths and Chains. Otherwise, things would be even slower than they are right now when it comes to writing Elias's point of view. But because of these snippets that I did previously, I do have a relatively okay idea of who Elias is as a person, and that has given me a leg up when it comes to writing his point of view. Otherwise, that would just be a slower process to learn all of that, which is fine. Overall, this whole month so far, and all of February and pretty much all of January, have been very stressful. I've just had a lot of weight on my shoulders in general. Sorry, I heard the door close and I was worried that Roxy would start barking. I've had a lot of weight on my shoulders, primarily in the form of stress and anxiety. I had, I think, almost all of last week, where I pretty much had a panic attack every day. On Tuesday, I had another panic attack related to one of my cats. It's been an adventure, and things have been very slow, and a lot of times I feel like I'm being crushed by this insurmountable mountain of work and stress and anxiety and pressure, and like there's no way out. And sometimes that's a lot. So I'm not 100% sure how I'm going to do it yet, or what I'm going to do, or anything like that, but I do know that I need a break. I need my version of a break. I'm not going to stop writing. I've been writing daily for a very long time, and I don't want to give that up. If you don't want to do daily writing, that is 100% okay. You are not required to do daily writing to be a writer. You aren't required to do daily writing to be an author. You aren't required to do anything other than write whenever the hell you want to. I personally enjoy doing it every day because no matter what, it gives me something that is technically routine, no matter how few or how many words I write in a day. And that one part of my day that is guaranteed to be routine is always nice, because I have many animals that can change the rest of my day. I have many chronic issues that can change any other part of my day, and I do my best to manage the in-betweens with as much routine or normal as I possibly can, and writing is one of those. So whatever my break is, it's not going to involve giving up writing. I think it might involve lowering the amount of work in progresses I have, or at the very least zeroing in on a couple and just working on those. I'm not 100% sure, but I know that I need to take it easy for a little while, whether it be for the good of myself, or for the good of my books, or for the good of anyone and anything, depending on which one makes me take a break and stick to it. But that's where I am right now. I'll fill you in once I know more about this break and what's going to happen with it and what it entails, but right now I just don't know. I still enjoy filming videos. you know, depending on the day. I've been filming an animal video all of today, and I really enjoyed that. But I just need to limit the amount of stuff on my shoulders right now, I think, until I've come back to a slightly less stressed Courtney. But we'll see how long that takes. So at the moment, that's all that I have. That's the only romance type things that I have worked on since the last time we spoke. I'm hoping to maybe work on some beekeeping research today, but we'll see how things go. I'm still saving up for Willie's next vet appointment, so I might do some freelance tasks instead if any of those are available, but if not, I'll probably move on to beekeeping research until I'm tired, or until I decide to play Left 4 Dead instead. We'll see how things go. But I'm going to get back to filming a couple more videos to catch up, and then getting into freelance stuff or writing or something, and I will see you guys the next time I know more about this break, or the next time that I accomplish something in the romance world of my work in progresses. But for now, that's all I have, and I'll see you when I see ya. Alrighty, it is currently 12:50 p.m. on March 29th, and before I take my pets to the vet, which is happening in a little over 2 hours now at this point, I want to make sure that I catch you up on the stuff that I have been doing since the last time you saw me, so that way, if things don't go great today, there's not a huge gap in my videos. There will still be a huge gap, but slightly less of one if I film the majority of this month now instead of halfway through next month or something. I have two things that I'm going to be looking at here. I have my word count spreadsheet up here, and I have notes that I took from the 19th to the 23rd on what I've been doing. So initially my plan was just to do a voiceover narration type thing, but I don't have the time lapses edited into a video in order to do the narration, so we're just going to do this instead. So on the 19th, I sat down and scrolled through the Twitter prompts for the day and ended up writing tweets for two of those words, two of the Twitter prompt words, and I added those to the Google Docs that I'm keeping for the snippets that I create for Competition B, which is a romance that I'm planning on starting at some point. Initially, I was hoping to start it next month for Camp Nano, but depending on how today goes, I'm not sure how that's going to go. I'm not going to go into deep detail on the vet visit right now because I have already cried like 7 times this morning. I have already had a panic attack this morning, so I'm not going to get into it because I just want to go through this and do my best to remain calm. So I'm just going to do my best to get through the rest of this now. Go from there. But with the Competition B thing, I don't know when I'm going to start that book, but right now I'm still doing snippets. And on the 19th, I, again, put them both into Google Docs and then expanded one of the scenes, and that brought me up to 358 words for the day. Didn't do any other writing that day, which is fine. Things have been relatively slow. Most days I've had 2 productive days, not counting today, and for the most part I've been okay with that. On the 20th, I napped the first few hours of the morning, took my thyroid meds at 2, napped again, fed Willie, and then played Far Cry 4, and eventually 2 Point Hospital for a few hours. Finally, after taking care of animal chores and giving Bean and Willie their meds, I scrolled through Twitter to develop the snippets for Competition B. I ended up writing snippets for 3 prompts this time, and then added those to my Google Docs and expanded 2 of the prompts that I wrote. That gave me 462 words for the 20th. On March 21st, I went through my normal routine, which has become the normal routine, it didn't used to be, of playing a video game for the first hour or so of the morning, and then I napped for the next several hours. A bit more of a nap than I was hoping to take, but that's fine. My sleep schedule has been messed up for quite some time now and is getting worse every single day. At this point, the 21st was Sunday. We were taking the boys in the next day to get fixed on Monday. So I spent about an hour or so on the 21st filling out authorization forms and medical history forms for their appointment, took care of the animals, and then that was it. Didn't do any other writing things. So on the 21st, I eventually ended up doing 2 Twitter prompts for Competition B. Expanded them both just a little bit, but not as much as I did the others. It was just like, I think I expanded a line of dialogue or something. And that was 204 words on the 21st. Also, despite the fact that I am reading notes off here, I do know that my thoughts were very jumbled there. And I do apologize, but I hope it makes at least some sense. I can barely keep my own thoughts straight right now, so conveying them to other human beings is very difficult. So I hope it's at least somewhat able to be comprehended. Able to be comprehended. Comprehensible. That's all I got. With that, it was approaching 3 p.m. I did my best to push for as long as I could because I had to be up Monday for the boys. Recently, not today recently, but at the time of taking these notes, I had been staying up until well after 3 or 4 in the afternoon. But I do get swept up in exhaustion most days, and usually at entirely random intervals. Yesterday on the 28th, I was exhausted again by 9 a.m., which was about 3 hours after I'd woken up. And I had to cave to sleep around noon, and I slept for a while, at least 3 hours, and then I tried to sleep for at least 2 hours after that. That's just where we are in the state of my health at this point. On the 21st, while I was sitting in the living room to stay awake, I finally figured out what I'm going to do for my break from everything. I'm going to start by narrowing my work in progresses down to 5 of them, which I've already done. And the goal will be to work on each one on an assigned weekday every single week, and then on the weekends I can do whatever I want. I can work on any of the 5, I can work on just Twitter snippets, just Competition B snippets, just research. I don't have to work on any of the work in progresses if I don't want to, but I can if I want to. And then the goal will be to work on them until at least one of them is completed, and then once that one is completed, I'll rotate one of my remaining work in progresses into its now vacant space. I don't know how long I'll do this break, but I'm excited to see if doing that eases up some of the weight on my shoulders or if it makes it feel even heavier. Generally, I do better with more things on my plate, but I have a lot of things on my plate, so I am hoping that narrowing it down and breathing and allowing myself to maybe not have to write as much every day, or maybe not have to focus on editing this today. I'm hoping that that helps, but if it doesn't, we'll add more work in progresses in. But right now, in the romance sense, the ones that I will be working on are Truths and Chains and Hashtags and Homicide, and the others are crime and supernatural stuff. So Truths and Chains and Hashtags and Homicide are what you will primarily get updates on, as well as most likely Competition B snippets. Which takes us on to the 22nd. I was gone most of the day. We had the boys about an hour drive from here to get fixed, and then we had to kill time for several hours until we could pick them up and bring them back home, because it's a discount spay and neuter clinic basically, and they don't do overnight stays for anything, which is fine. That's not like an insult. I'm just trying to remember what I was going to say, but I'm sure that my face looked a little weird while I was saying it. But there on the 22nd, I didn't want to go back into Walmart because my legs were just completely done walking for the day, so I sat in the car while my mom ran in to get milk and a couple things for the boys. And while I was there, I scrolled through Twitter snippets, or the Twitter prompts quick, did one for Competition B and one for Vito and Elias's story Truths and Chains, and although I didn't move either of them into their separate Google Docs, I copied and pasted them into Grammarly so I could get a word count, and together it was 148 words for the 22nd. On March 23rd, I did one Twitter snippet for Competition B, and again, I didn't copy that over into the Google Docs. And by copied into Google Docs, I mean I retype it in there, but with the Grammarly thing, I do just copy and paste it. And that was 92 words for the one snippet that I did. And on that day, well, I suppose it was on the 22nd, but on the 23rd, I wasn't going to do anything else, despite the fact that I had planned to, because on the 22nd, after we got home, and after I gave Willie his meds at 10 p.m., he fainted, or had a seizure. I believe he fainted, which is something that he hasn't done since September, when we put him on his meds, and that was a bit too much for me. Definitely got me, that's for sure. Definitely cried like a baby for an hour, and then slept like garbage all night because I was waking up every 20 minutes to check on him and make sure that everything was okay, even though he was sleeping out there next to me, even though I could hear him snoring. Just needed to make sure my baby was okay. And then on the 23rd, in order to do what I could to distract myself, and I'm going to make sure that the 23rd is the correct date, just because it doesn't seem like it is, but I could understand why. Okay, it is. On the 23rd, in order to try and distract myself from the Willie situation, which sort of worked, I started working on Truths and Chains. The goal had been to work on that one on Monday, the 22nd, and then pick up with the Happy Face Killer rewrite on Tuesday. But instead, I just decided to work on Truths and Chains pretty much all week, because I do find it relatively relaxing to work on it, despite the brewing mafia war in the book. But I enjoy writing romances, and that one is very, most of the time, stress-free. On the 23rd, I wrote 648 words there. On the 24th, I had a very good day. I wrote 2,642 words. On the 25th, I wrote 1,988 words. On the 26th, I wrote 330 words in Truths and Chains. On the 27th and the 28th, I did beekeeping research, very mild. These were the days over the weekend, and I was not having a great weekend, to say the least. Primarily related to Celine. I'm sorry, she's down there in her cage. I just saw her move, so I was making sure she was okay. If you hear a noise, she's grabbing her cage door, and she will probably start pulling on that in a second. But on the 27th, I wrote 30 words in beekeeping research, and on the 28th, I wrote 54, and again, that is research for Competition B. And then finally, on the 29th today, in order to waste time and do what I could to distract myself from everything else, I worked on Truths and Chains again on its designated day here, and that was 1,306 words. Because I still have about 2 hours before we are at the vet, and probably about an hour and a half before we go to the vet, I might do some more writing in Truths and Chains. I might do some stuff in beekeeping research. I'm not 100% sure. I'm tired. I'm exhausted. But I know that if I go to sleep, there's a chance that I, A, won't wake up anytime soon, and B, I will probably be relatively cranky and be even more likely to cry at the vets, and I would like to remain as calm as I possibly can, despite how unbelievably difficult it is. So that's where we are. If I do anything else, I'll do my best to update you before I leave. But if not, I will see you guys at some point. I'll go from there. this is going to be a slightly longer work in progress video than I would like it to be, but since I am currently working on romance things and there are only 2 days left of the month, I'm not going to make a separate work in progress video right now. But that's all I have for right now. I will do my best to update you guys if something happens before I go, but we'll see how things go. We'll see how I feel, and we'll go from there. It's been nice to practice talking for a little bit. Hopefully that will help me at the vets, and I will see you guys hopefully soon. Alright, it is 11 in the morning on April 1st. I'm pretty sure the last thing I updated you on was on the 29th, and I think I told you that I wrote 1,306 words in Truths and Chains, but there it is in case I didn't. Just because I don't want to risk getting upset, I'm not going to talk about Celine or the vet appointments or anything like that. I have been filming a video on that. I don't know if I will post it. I think it depends primarily on how all of this turns out. But just so that way I can wrap up this video, I'm going to go ahead and tell you about the 30th and the 31st. I did one thing each day. On the 30th, I wrote 2 Twitter snippets, I think, and that was 76 words. And on the 31st, I finished doing notes on one of the articles for the beekeeping research, and that was 298 words. That means that for March, I wrote a total of 31,806 words, and that's where we are. I'm not 100% sure yet what I will be doing for April. I think I'm going to do Camp Nano, but I'm not going to do book stuff for it. I mean, technically I'm going to do book stuff, but not work in progresses. And then I might do like research for it, and then still work on my work in progresses outside of that, but only count the research stuff towards Camp Nano. I'm not 100% sure. Initially I wanted to start Competition B this month, but then the last week or two happened, and I just am not ready to start another book right now. So, that's where we are. I will let you guys know how things go. Obviously, in April, I will most likely do work in progress videos and Camp Nano videos. I just probably won't do daily Camp Nano videos, but we will see and go from there. But that is all that I have for this romance work in progress video. If you enjoyed this video, a like is always appreciated, and if you'd like to stay updated on my writing, my editing, the animal videos I upload roughly every Wednesday, the gaming videos I upload roughly every Friday, or anything that I do on this channel in between, feel free to subscribe. All the links to my authors pages, as well as links to my social media, are in the description down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye for now.